Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Jojo Palacio, and on this channel we talk about all things beauty. Today we're talking about concealing and highlighting. Very big topic, very big topic, and if you're here you'll understand why. I have worked at Sephora for 6 years now, and I get this question all the time. Clients come in looking for concealer, and my first 3 questions are: what is your skin type? How much coverage do you want? And do you want it the same color as your foundation or lighter than your foundation? Majority of the time, they know the first 2 questions. The last question, they answer with another question, which is, what's the difference? So this video is to address that question. What is the difference between a concealing concealer and a highlighting concealer? So we're gonna talk about that today. I hope that you guys are ready. Notepads in hand. Comment down below if you have any questions that I didn't address during the video. It is such a frequently asked question, guys, that I know you will have more questions than what I could possibly think of. So before we get into this video, I just want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel. I do videos like this and so much more on my channel that are just focused on you guys and educating you and making you feel comfortable about all things beauty. So subscribe, because we've got goals to get to 1,000 subscribers by 2021. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday every single week with content like this and so much more. As well as hit the thumbs up button and comment down below. That way YouTube is aware that this is content that you want to see more of. So everyone else on YouTube can just get to know us here at JoJo Beauty, right? So that's it. That's my spiel. Subscribe, and if you're interested in finding out what the difference is between highlighting and concealing, then just keep on watching. All right, guys, so let's get started on today's tutorial. So today's tutorial is going to be focused around concealers, and we're going to be talking about concealing and highlighting shades. So I already have my base on. I already have my bronzer on. We're going to go right into what I would consider the next step, which is concealing. So I like to do my concealer after I do my bronzer, just because if I overdid it or if I want to brighten the face back up, I can do that with the concealer right away. So I ask this question to clients a lot, all the time at Sephora when they come in looking for a concealer. My first question is, what is your skin type? How much coverage do you want? And then I finish by asking, are you using it the same color as your foundation or lighter? And the reason being is because of the fact that when you're using your concealer the same shade as your foundation, you're doing it to conceal. So my shade is the Even Better All Over Concealer in the shade Ivory from Clinique. This is what I would consider to be similar to my foundation. So what I'm going to do is swatch my foundation, and then I'll swatch this shade so you guys can see it. So I actually have a few shades that I would consider my concealing shade. So I want it to be something that's peachy, maybe 1, maybe 2 shades lighter than my foundation. And I definitely want it to have that peachy color correcting undertone to it. It won't be as neutral or as cool as my highlighting shade. So if the light is awful, sorry. So you guys can see there, that's definitely lighter than my foundation. This is my foundation. The shade above it is my concealer that I use to conceal, and it's definitely a peachy tone, but it is not the same color. So I always like to recommend that clients do it based off of their personal preference. So I love a bright under eye, which is why my concealing shade is even that much lighter than what I would suggest my clients do. However, if you are someone who does not do this often, I would stay away from going way too light. So the next shade that I'm going to swatch on my hand is going to be my highlighting shade, so you guys can see how different the colors are. Highlighting shades are placed in the smaller triangle and the high points of the face to bring them forward, making them a highlight. So these are the 3 shades next to each other, just so you guys can see. So the first brighter shade is my highlighting shade, the second shade there is my concealing shade, and then lastly you'll see my foundation. So I know that looks really harsh on my hand just like that, but once we blend it out on my face, you'll see that it makes a big difference, and you'll see how I create the look that I create. So now that we have the color concepts, so the highlighting and concealing for concealers, I want to go ahead and go into the application. So my application for this is I always start by using the concealing shade first. The concealing shade goes in the areas that I want to conceal or color correct. So for me, that's going to be underneath my eyes, in the very inner corner. This is what I consider the small triangle underneath of the eyes. That's directly underneath of the eyes. The forehead is a very red pink area for me, and then I also have blemishes and redness around the nose and the chin. Now this application is very minimal. This is gonna reinforce or make up for what the foundation did not. I personally, a lot of the times, will not apply a lot of foundation to these areas because those are areas that I know that I'm going to use concealer. A lot of the times, caking, creasing can happen because we are layering way too much products or more products than necessary. So what I'm going to do is blend this out using a sponge. This is a Hank & Henry sponge. And so what I like to do is just push this starting from the areas that are furthest away from the under eye, allowing the under eye to kind of set a little bit, giving me more coverage. Now you could definitely use a buffing brush to blend these out. I just prefer to blend it with the sponge. The sponge really just helps to work it into the skin. And so you can see that it's starting to cover, but we're gonna see the biggest difference underneath of the eyes for me. So I'm gonna start by pushing that into the area where I know I need it the most, which is directly underneath of the eye. And I will more than likely take that into the inner corner as well as start to work it down the bridge of the nose. So you guys can see how that automatically brightened up my under eye area. This eye still isn't concealed, so you can see the difference between color corrected eye and not. Okay, so if you're someone who wants to do an everyday look, you just want to look put together and you don't want to see your dark circles, this is where you and I would stop, and then we would continue to set it and move on to the rest of the complexion. However, if you're someone who's looking to bring those areas forward, you want to conceal a little more, you feel like your under eye area just isn't doing it for you, this is where I suggest you do the highlighting. So what I'm going to do to show you the difference is I'm going to do it on one eye and not the other, so you can determine what type of girl you are, whether you're a conceal and highlight type of girl or you're just a conceal type of girl. So I'm going to go ahead and apply this to this side first, and so this is where I'm going to do the inner corner, and then I'm also going to take advantage of the larger triangle of my face. So remember I said that goes in the inner corner, which is a smaller triangle, and then it also goes to highlight the cheekbone. That's the larger triangle. So I typically do 2 to 3 lines to help me just lift up my cheekbone. So what I'm gonna do is start by working these areas that are away from the under eye first. And so I like to just dab that back and forward into that C shape that we do for our illuminating highlight. The same thing for this guy. And I even bring it all the way to the bridge of the nose so you can see that it starts to lift the face. And so once I've already blended the cheekbone part out, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the under eye. All right guys, so now that our eyes are concealed and highlighted on the right, I'm gonna just pause for a minute and talk about some differences. So you can definitely see that there is more light. It attracts more attention to this side under eye. Not saying anything wrong with this eye, but there's definitely a big difference. You can almost see that this swoop underneath has disappeared on the right eye versus the left eye. So that's just the biggest difference you're gonna see when you're highlighting. That's how you know the difference. So I just have to show you so that you guys can see this side's a little more lifted. It's definitely brighter, brought forward. Versus this guy, yes, it's concealed and color corrected, but it falls flat in comparison to the other. What do you guys think? Comment down below if you're not understanding. If you are understanding, remember that I'm always here to answer your comments, kind of talk back to you guys within the first hour of me posting a video, so feel free to ask questions. So you will also notice that I brought it up to the bridge of the nose, so that kind of starts to contour the nose up a little bit. I brought it around to where that meets the nostril area, and so it lifts up the cheekbone. You can see the definition on this side versus not so much on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and even up the other side, and then we can wrap up this video. All right guys, so this is pretty much it. I've already set the face, but that is it for our concealing and highlighting video. Now the one thing I do want to say is there's a big difference between highlighting and illuminating. As you saw, the highlighting has nothing to do with glowiness or shimmery, none of that. It has to do with attracting attention to the areas that you want to pull forward. So whether that is maybe contouring up your jawline a little bit, or maybe bringing forward your eyelids because they're dark, that's up to you and your face. Everyone is different. So if you guys have any questions, just comment down below. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. I just thought I'd share this video with you guys because it is a frequently asked question at Sephora, especially when clients are talking about concealer. So I thought that I would share it. It came to mind and I thought it was super appropriate. I hope that it was helpful, and I will see you guys next time. Love you, bless you, bye.